We are live, Himatri.
Holistic, value-based, experiential. Learning is always comprehensive at SNU. Located at Newtown, Rajarhat, Kolkata, SNU lies close to the new corporate hub of the city. Established through the enactment of the Sister Nivedita University Act 2017, SNU is deeply inspired by the thoughts and teachings of Swami Vivekananda and Sister Nivedita. Housing an environment of inclusiveness, the university promises to provide education to all without any bias based on class, social status, creed, religion, or gender. The SNU campus boasts of a well-designed, ergonomical infrastructure with educational facilities par global standards. SNU also provides students with accommodation facilities that harbor an interactive, healthy, hygienic, and academic-oriented environment. Moreover, healthy, home-cooked food items are served in the cafeteria.
एट SNU का फूड कोर्ट हम लोग खोले हैं। यहाँ पर हम लोग इंडियन, चाइनीज, बंगाली और भी डिशेज रखने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं और फूड क्वालिटी में कोई कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ हम लोग नहीं करते हैं।
In-house buses with well-coordinated routes covering all parts of the city provide a smooth, safe and convenient transport service.
In addition to providing playground, indoor games facilities, we have set up yoga center here. We have an agreement with the Korean organization, a special type of martial art, Taekwondo.
At SNU, it has been a life-changing experience for me.
At SNU, I have believed and made a right decision to join this university.
At SNU, I have started becoming a good human, discovering new ideas and innovation which comes along with creativity and excellence. I have started enjoying my life at SNU and I hope you will enjoy it here too.
Good evening, participants. Welcome to today's webisode, Making Students Future Ready. Today, we will explore the scope and horizon and areas of the domain of modern law, with special emphasis on the very exciting world of cyber law. It is undeniable that in recent years, consumption, engagement, as well as dependence on the internet has seen an exponential growth. Simultaneously, we've also witnessed misuse of the internet and the network, sometimes amounting to severe crime. Therefore, it has become essential to protect users from harm through investigation, prosecution of online criminal activity. This is where cyber law gains tremendous spotlight. Skilled professionals trained in the field of cyber law will become the need of the hour. And cyber law as a career will be much sought after profession. Today, we will learn various aspects and much about this upcoming field from Mr. Bibhash Chatterjee, one of the leading cyber law experts in the country. He's of course a public prosecutor for cyber law and electronics evidence for entire West Bengal. He's a legal advisor for CID West Bengal. He's also certified in cloud computing, big data ethics, cyber forensics, fintech, blockchain, and related fields. In fact, his expertise and contribution to the field of cyber law, especially for the state, is undeniable. He has authored a list of cybercrime manuals, evidence manuals, IT manuals in English, Hindi, and Bengali. He has developed 11 mobile apps dealing with cyber law. Commendable feat indeed. Apart from this, he also takes out time to create awareness about IT and its ramifications through his YouTube channel, blogs, and recently launched podcast in Bengali. In fact, he has been he's been proactive in generating consciousness among the mass about internet crimes through his various social media handles, especially during the lockdown period, which unfortunately saw a substantial increase in cybercrime. We are delighted to have today with us Mr. Bibhash Chatterjee as our speaker today. I am sure his talk today will inspire several young minds to explore this field and take up the profession in the future. For the duration of the session, kindly we ask the audience to mute your microphones. You can enable your video, of course. We want this to be an interactive session, so kindly drop in your questions in the chat box. The session will be moderated by Professor Dr. Debashree Mukherjee. She's, of course, the head of the Department of the Law Department at Sister Nivedita University. We'll soon start the session, but before that, a little opening remark from Ms. Ina Bose, Director HR, Industry Connect and Corporate Communications, Sister Nivedita University. Ma'am.
Thank you, Indrila. Mr. Bibhash Chatterjee, a very, very old friend of mine. Thank you, Mr. Chatterjee, for agreeing at such a short notice to come and join us and enlighten the prospective students in your field. I know very well that how busy you are, but fortunately, since the courts are not operating, not functional now, so your physical presence there probably is not required that much, and that is why we have been able to convince you to come and join us. We are so very thankful. Professor Mukherjee will be coordinating with you because you two are from the law of fraternity, so it will be better to talk to you from her perspective. Professor Mukherjee, yes, please.
Thank you, Ina Madam. Thank you, Indrila Madam also. A very warm welcome on behalf of SMU once again to Mr. Bibhash Chatterjee. We are really delighted to have you today, and more so at this hour of the scene that we are in. We have already gone for a major shift from the offline platform to the online platform. And the more we are delving into the online platform, we realize that there are different kinds of issues that are associated with the online platform, which many of us in different parts of the country are facing, whether it be from the standpoint of the social perspective, whether it be from standpoints of data privacy, whether it be in terms of the use of AI technologies and machine learning that corporates are using. So yes, this particular episode that has been arranged by the university today is very appropriate. And I would request Mr. Chatterjee, with his huge expertise and his huge experience in the domain, first of all, to throw light on the perspective that cyber law as an area of concern as a result of this pandemic, has it leveraged its position better, or was it supposed to be better over a period of time, whether we had the pandemic or not, considering the extensive use of the internet that is happening throughout the world?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ina, for these invitations. Debashree and others and all the persons who are present today. We all are students of actually law and technology. We're learning every day. I don't think that I'm an expert. I'm a humble student. I learn every day. the night I go for sleep, I apprehend that the next morning I will have something new to learn, and I have to learn. I am forced to learn, because that is the agony to be in the forefront of a movement, that you have to be enlightened with every nitty-gritties of the system, be it cyber and legal. And you all aware of the fact that the technology is a speedy branch. I think one of the speediest branch in our civilizations, and law is actually a little bit slow in adapting its amendment and other changes. But technology is influencing a law a great way today. But coming back to your question, Devasri, it actually my journey started in the year 2010 and 11, when I can still recollect those days. Actually, there was only one cyber police station in West Bengal, that is under Kolkata police station at Lal Bazar. And that was only newly inaugurated at that time in the year, I suppose, if I can rightly recall, in the year 2010 and 11. And one case was registered. I think it was one of the biggest cases at that time. And it was the two states was involved, Odisha and Bengal. And that time, actually, I was not a public prosecutor, and this branch was of not so hype, which is now today at that point of time. And there was a complaint of a website defacement filed by one of the telecom company, and I used to be the lawyer at that time who are in the telecom industry. Everybody actually know me better, and I lead the entire case in the forefront, and I went to the state of Odisha. I spent 11 days on behalf of my client telecom company, corporate company, and I could foresee the tremendous opportunity, prospect, and develop, and the scope of developing. Or the most important thing, I am a chemistry honor student, and I love to experiment in a test tube and other. So in every case, I actually, Bengal is one of the pioneering state in India, which at least have that much of thought to have a dedicated public prosecutor for this very important subject. And the result shows the effort was good, that we got back-to-back 11 conviction in 11 cases. And all those cases are maybe purely cyber, may not be purely cyber. It's a mixed case. It's amounting a murder mystery, rape, and dacoity, all sort of cases. And in those cases, electronic evidence or cyber world is playing a very important role. So I started my journey in the year 2010 and 11. And then on, I thought it may be that some pioneering ghost actually coming up into my head, and I thought that this was going to be the future. And even the time in 2016-17, I can still recall that I've been in any kind of forum. Say I was actually engaged by the CDAC for the touring entire India as their resource person for dedicatedly for cyber law and other. It was a My Lord Lokur committee program for enlightening all the judges in India. So I roam about entire India and Bengal to hey always. Now within this, the people was laughing at me when I used to tell that these will be the future and there will be no evidence apart from the electronic evidence. And I can still remember, actually, Ina tried a lot to start a diploma in cyber law in collaboration with another institute. That was a very good try from the part of the INA. But even I can recollect that INA, that entire thing was not materialized because the people was not aware at that point of time.
Absolutely.
And that is one of the reasons. But today you see in every kind, why not? Because India can boast of the fact that we have the world's second largest netizens, second largest internet user in India. And the most important thing is that the young generations, at least in my, I suppose what I see from that, 80 to 85% young mind in India are every time logged into either in WhatsApp, either in Facebook or Twitter or anything. So their expression, their activity, their likes, their dislike, everything are being mirrored in all these electronic mediums and devices. So you can understand now, if any untoward incident happen, any crime or any contraventions, actually our Indian cyber law is Information Technology Act. And Information Technology is a major act. There are other acts also which included those different provisions, because then they come to know that without cyber, nothing will going to happen in the days to come. So what we find in our cyber law, that is Information Technology Act, that the incidents have been divided into two parts. One is contravention and other is offenses. So if you club together, actually prior COVID, that is 2020, the first period of the 2020 in India and other part of the world, and obviously especially in India and other third world countries, I think they have not realized the power of the cyber world. Today, you see, without cyber world, without the virtual world, we cannot live, we cannot exist. Because today you cannot go and venture out in the physical world. There is always a chance of contaminations with the virus. And I don't think this virology concept will going to vanish in a single day. It is going to stay with us. And every time, you see, I can still remember in the year 2017, there was a case, it's a very famous case. If you go to the search engine and search by the name Revenge Porn, you will find the details of that case. And that was, I think, the first convictions where investigation was done by CID West Bengal. It was the first convictions by CID West Bengal. And one of the 2 or 3 points are there which can give credit to this case. And one is that from the day one as a prosecutor in that case, my argument was that today, see, everybody have two identities. One is the physical identity and another is his or her virtual identities. So my contention in that case was that a lady can even be raped virtually, or there can be a concept of virtual rape. And that actually what happened, that there was a relationship between one guy, he was of the final year BTech student, and another was of the victim was of the final year B.Ed student. So there was a relationship for at least 2 to 3 years between them. And one day, the lady was told by the offender that you have to go with me to the different tourist spots, say for example Digha, another for roaming and for tour another, and you had to have sex with me, and all these unlawful and lascivious proposals was made from the part of the lover, that is a male lover. And the lady was actually scared, and she withdrawn herself from the entire the relationship. And after 2-3 months, what the lady failed, the lady got the information from her brother that some lascivious videos, some lascivious pictures were uploaded, and videos were up maybe of 11 minutes, 17 minutes, 21 minutes. These all videos was captured when there was an intimate relationship between both of them. The pictures were captured and all these were there. And these are all actually kept hidden in the mobile phone of the offender. And when the victim was not ready to do whatever the accused was actually pursuing to do, and withdrawn herself, this offender is actually uploaded all those videos through that Pornhub websites. And in uploading those Pornhub websites, the most heinous offense he committed is that he mentioned the name of the victim, the name of the father of the victim, the phone number and the address. He mentioned in that post, every post. And these videos were shared in more than 40,000 websites and other. And when the lady first got that information of all those videos and pictures, the lady tried to commit suicide for twice. She made twice attempt. And in the night, the father somehow convinced the lady and taken her to the nearest police stations. That is one of the part of South Bengal. And therefore, the next day morning, the CID West Bengal took up the case. And I take up the charge as a prosecutor of that case on the very day. And it was not a case only, it's a history, it's an SOP. If you get opportunity, I will request you all to come and go through the case. Actually, this is one of the case. I started to make it a standard operating procedure, not only a case only for that. And in that case, the entire trial has been completed within less than 6 months. It is one, I think, India is one of the fastest trial ever happened on cybercrime and other. And the most interesting thing, there was a little bit of experiment done on the part of the state, part of the prosecutions, live server data, because that time the lady was actually, when the lady was examined by me in the witness box, I asked the lady whether all those videos were still live. She told yes. She replied affirmatively, and then I applied for I filed an application before the court that if opportunity be given, the state can arrange the internet connections in the open court, and the lady can show the lady could show the all the videos with the help of the search keyword and all. And thereafter there was a hearing on both sides, and after hearing both sides, because it's for ends of justice, the court allowed my prayer and directed the CID West Bengal to organize, have the internet in the open court. And you'll see how, what I'm in giving reply to the Devashi's question, why I'm mentioning is this point is that, see, what a sea change is taking place in the judiciary, because ultimately it is the judiciary which is going to determine what is right, what is wrong, what is offense and what is not offense. So from that criteria and perspective, what kind of evidence have now been put into, because I had a problem that I cannot come all those evidences and all this URL and all those videos and all, but everything was there, because you know, if you make a request from the evidence from these companies, there's always a apathy or allergy on these companies to provide the data. And most of the companies are actually foreign companies, and they hardly care about providing the data in India. I can still remember in the year 2017, I visited USA, has been invited in the world's biggest cybercrime conference, the Digital Crime Consortium, and I am the proudly speaking of the only Asian to ever been to any kind of this seminar. And there were 200 law enforcement agencies officials who tried to grill me on that point, that India and third world countries are at the place where the cyber crimes have been thriving on. And my reply was very clear and stout. And that it is because of these developed countries, the cyber crime is so high or skyrocketing day by day. And I have proved that by logic, because these companies who are going to provide the IP address or the details on which the entire investigation relies, if they show the reluctance, if they say no, we're not going to provide, if they don't care about providing the IP address and the other data, then our investigation will fall flat. And that from perspective, I always see that in that open court, my pair was allowed, and the CID made the arrangement for having the live internet in the open court. And the lady again came to the witness box, and one by one, she opened all those videos with her name, showing her name in the keywords as a keyword search. And all those videos, and the lady and the judge actually recorded all those videos with time, URL and everything. And the purpose was of mine is very simple: to make that phenomena part of the deposition. That is means part of the evidence. The same technology, the same technique I applied in one of the that's the first cheat fund convictions in West Bengal. I think you all heard about that. 8 persons was awarded live convictions. It was 861 crore rupees scam in East Midnapur. And in that case also, I have tried to, at least from lower court version, successfully put the server data, live server data. So in this case also, the lady showed one by one those live server data, wherein all those videos still uploaded on that very day, because it's not possible for CID, even for the FBI, to block all those websites, because they are being spread throughout the world, and their server may be at any point of the area of the geographical area in the world. So and now, you know, there are cloud server as well, and they are also scattered throughout the world in different continent and other. So this way, in that case, my argument was accepted by the court, and the court says yes, the days come and we have to adopt the new technology, and the virtual rape was accepted by the court. And by accepting the same, the lady, the victim, was awarded the same compensation under Section 357A of Criminal Procedure Code, which is actually been awarded to award to a rape victim. So this the phenomenal change, a phenomenal shift, the way the court thinks, the court, the way we both sides are putting the evidence. I on behalf of the prosecution and defense, and somebody on behalf of the defense, and it is the court who is going to neutrally putting the evidences into the table and appreciate the evidence. And in appreciating the evidence, you can see that the mechanism that is changing. And after the first COVID period, the first wave in 2020, we could understand easily that without cyber, will not walk through in our day-to-day life. And that is one of the reasons. I can still remember last year in the month of, I think, March, April, the Interpol came with another report, and it's a very alarming report, that in the COVID period, the cybercrime has been increased in manyfold. And the type of attack was actually on the infrastructure, on the backbone of a nation, of a society, of a country or a state. And say, for example, the power grid, say, for example, the health system, because that is the time when you all more fully dependent on the state-sponsored infrastructure, state backbones. All these people have been home-locked, and in that scenario, cyber world is playing a very, and in the second wave as well, the cyber world in today only, what we are feeling, we're experiencing, that without this virtual world, we are useless. And that is why the cyber will definitely stay. I can still recall the different articles. In the year 1995, the internet starts its journey more fully. And the purpose was not so defined and specific on that year. Today we understand the power. We are connected globally. We are connected by social medias. We are connected by internet. We are connected by mobile phone, and we are heading for quantum computing, because IBM was actually working for the last 37 years on quantum computing, and considerable amount of fund they have invested. And there are other companies as well, Amazon and other, they are also coming in the queue. And if the quantum computing is going to come, and there will be a sea change in the computing power, which we today having or witnessing with the classical computers. So huge changes going to take. There is no way we're going to shut down against the growth of internet. We have to welcome it. And rather, I'm going to tell you that they are going to be every day, every second, every time changes, because there was a little bit of slowness or sluggishness because of this pandemic and other. Otherwise, there was a projection that in the year 2020, there will be more than 20 billion Internet of Things. We're going to rule the world. We're going to rule the world. Even in the tiffin curry of a small child or student, they will also carry the IoT, so that their parents are being secured, that their child are going to school, and they are not being taken by anyone or abducted or kidnapped. So everybody is connected. This IoT and other devices, it's very miniature, starting from very miniature to the robust technology. Everywhere we are actually heading for a complete cyber world. And I think there is no way to looking back. Sometimes we become fed up, because the head of one of the these video conferencing software providing company was actually 2 or 3 days earlier. I was going through his post in the Twitter, and he was actually telling that he was fed up with the 24 hours, 24/7. He has to be busy with this conferencing. So even he was puzzled. The way the brain was actually being used into that. But whatever be the scenario, cyber is going to stay, electronic world is going to stay, and the considerable, the stupendous amount of convenience, and obviously not to forget the inconvenience it has added to our society. I think without it, we are addicted. And I don't think there is any scope that is going to come out of these addictions. And there is ionosphere surrounding our Earth. I think there is always a question of internet, and it will be there.
Very rightly pointed out, sir, that internet is now part of our lives, and whether we like it or not, we have to accept it. You know, we have the older generation of people also who are now trying to cope up or understand how they will be, you know, going to act in the cyber world, and they face a lot of issues. But one thing that has to be accepted by all of us is, whether it is the senior citizen or whether it is a young child who is going to school, everyone requires the basic information whereby they can not only feel themselves empowered, but they will also be able to use the internet in a proper manner so that their security is enhanced.
Yes.
I will just put forward my next question at this juncture.
Devasri, just one point I mentioned. I think there's a humming sound coming from you. I think the fan is actually revolving or anything.
Okay, I'll just take care. I'll just take care of it.
Yes. Come to our second question.
Yes. So we say that data is the new oil, as you have rightly pointed out. And data protection, therefore, is of immense concern today. Yes, whether we are talking of private data belonging to a citizen or we are talking of data that belongs to corporates. So is the legal framework in India, do you think it is well in tune to manage the need of the times?
There's an interesting phenomena going on throughout the world for the last at least 2 years or 4 years, actually, since 2018. The GDPR actually proposed 2016, came into 2018. And 2 years time was given to the different European countries to complete their preparations. But from that perspective, everything actually is data, and data is the most precious thing today. You may not be in the cyber world, you may not be in the legal field, you may not be a techno-legal person, but everybody is concerned with the data. Everybody is working data, and now the definition of the data is so omniverse, it's so encroaching. Now everything is data. Anything spoken, anything told, anything heard, anything written, anything picturized, anything videographed, everything is data. So even I can say that a complete man is very the existence of a man is been caught in a data. Say, for example, our Aadhaar data. The Aadhaar data is actually containing our very important 3 biometric informations. And without those informations, and those informations are so unique to us, is that without that if somebody got the control of those informations, at any point of time, say for example, I have a Facebook account or a Twitter account. So I have a password, I have an ID. I'm putting that password and I'm putting that ID, and I'm opening and entering into, and I'm doing whatever I want to do with that of the social media accounts and other. But if for God's sake, it shouldn't happen. But if my password is been hacked, or it's been into anybody's hand or anything else, then there will be also damages. But that damages is nothing compared to the damage, even where complete the other data has been hacked by somebody. Because in that case, a complete man will be hacked. And because, for 65,000 people in the world, we have a unique biometric impressions or a fingerprints that cannot be changed. You can change your Facebook password if it has been stolen or compromised on other, but you cannot do it with your biometric or your fingerprints on that. It's such a unique thing. And if that thing, your data of the details of your IDs, your face identifications, these are all actually absolutely unique to somebody. So from that perspective, the data is becoming such a huge thing. There are actually Google has identified 256 personally identifiable data. Some of them are in the devices. Some of them we are every day using and other things. So when you are uploading or installing a mobile applications, you are told that these are the services of your mobile will going to be controlled and captured by this company. You have to give the full access to those companies. I can still recollect that day. Actually, I was that time very busy with my prosecution cases. I would have thought of file a suit against that company. I just landed up in Damdam airport, the Subhash Chandra Bose airport, and I got a message from one of the app cab company, and they told, welcome to the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose airport. And what intriguing to me, what actually actually traveling me on that point, cumbersome to that point, how can they know that they knew that I just landed up in that airport? So say I was actually not going for hiring a cab. The time I go and go for hiring a cab, that time they were to take us my locations and synchronize the and connect the same with the driver and who is going to come and pick up me and all. That is okay. But when I am not going for taking any kind of indulgence of service and anything, then how dare they are actually 24/7 collecting my locations. I'm just telling about location only because people are there who are actually taking selfies and uploading the same, going to Digha, Puri, Darjeeling. What are the three important places of all Bengalis? Actually, it's a patent places. And when they are going to those places, the first thing they are, after entering into the hotel room, they're taking the selfie and all. And regarding the selfie, actually, I was reading one Oxford University very interesting paper. Actually, I was also contributed to some extent to that paper since 2017. That's a very interesting case, intriguing to me. That these huge, there are ladies, there are the people in the internet world who uploaded more than 10,000, 20,000 or 25,000 selfie of their own within a span of 5 or 6 years. You can understand. You can understand the amount of data they are actually giving without any person asking them for. And it is the first point of danger. It is not the actual danger. Now the danger will start. Why does it happen? Because there are big data analyzer. There is a big data analytics. There are artificial intelligence softwares. And these artificial intelligence softwares will work on those big data of 10,000 selfies of a particular lady or a particular man. Because nowadays I have seen even our learned friends and who are going to the court and everywhere who are taking a selfies irrespective of sex and all. So I should not blame anyone. And sorry for that. Everybody is taking selfies and all. And in that perspective, what is actually going is mind-blowing. And after all, taking all these selfies of a particular person amounting to more than 10,000 data, this analytics, this AI is actually making a fake identity. And with those fake identities, the stalking, the bullying, and this mob picture and all these things are coming into play. And this is one of the grave concerns for privacy advocates in the world. And they have this. I'm not telling about privacy advocates means the LLB in our true sense. The privacy advocates, the technicians and all, what they thought to they have come for rescue is that they have themselves come with an AI, artificial intelligence software, which will going to vitiate the previous artificial intelligence softwares. And thereby, they will going to confuse the machine that this is not Mrs. X, this is Mrs. Y, but the picture was Mrs. X. So these injections of impurity into the analytics procedure is going to save the world. And who are going to save those selfie maniacs, I know, in the days to come. And even in one of the very teeny, not I think in Philippines and other, if I'm not being wrong, a lady was actually capturing selfie, and in doing so, her biometric impressions of his thumb, actually thumb impressions, was captured. And with the same, you can understand what could be done with the help of that. So every time we are, when we are sharing our biometric information, at least अरे तब तो सुधर जाओ, मेरा तो simple point यही है भाई, you can share everything and anything, but when you are sharing your biometric information, which is a completely unique thing, it's a purely genetic thing, don't do at the cost of the risk of your entire identity. And that's why the data privacy come into play. Now, it is one of the things where we are doing. There are huge instances when these corporates are indulging. We'll be surprised to not shocked to know that our data is being sold every day for billions and billions in dollars, and we are not being paid any royalty. We had not been paid, we had even not been known. And that is why the GDPR or all this, because the Europe has come with the GDPR, and in the same footing, the USA, only one state, this California has come with the CCPA, and the Brazil has come also with the data privacy law, and India is having introduced in the year 2019 a bill, a data protection bill, and that bill is actually, if you go the bill and compare it with the GDPR, you'll see that it's nothing but a copy paste of the GDPR. And the thing is that when the very simplicity of those law is that if you want to take my data, take my permission. And if you are taking the data for a particular, you're going to use the data for a particular purpose, you'll use that data for that particular purpose. And when the purpose is exhausted or completed, it is your duty to return me that data or destroy the data. So that was the normal scheme of those type of law. And if any corporate, any company doing any kind of things, type of breaches against this the law and other, there's a huge penalty provided in GDPR. I think I'm all aware of that is 20 million euro or 4% of the global annual turnover, whichever is higher. And there are a lot of other issues as well. Say, for example, copyright issues or like that. If I purchase a data from you and put my copyright into it, and then the purpose is completed, if you ask me the data to return back, how can I provide the data with you? This is already a copyrighted product of mine, and it may not be returned in the way it was first taken from you. There's so many issues are coming up with the GDPR, because with this privacy concept, well, now we have some new concept which is coming up, you all aware of, that is blockchain. That is very interesting concept. Actually, blockchain is making the world more, the privacy is actually one of the greatest thing in blockchain, because the data is there doubly end-to-end encrypted, doubly hashed, and it's an immutable, and we are all have the draconian concept of Bitcoin. And barring the Bitcoin, I love the blockchain, because I'm a blockchain certified professionals, and I know that this is going to be a future. But that is actually is a boon or other thing for the this GDPR and other. But privacy, one of the biggest, I think, danger posed by the concept of privacy is, which I've already told, that the Internet of Things, the IoT, because these teeny little bit of things, miniature devices, they are actually posing huge, because they are not designed to protect the privacy of an individual. So that's the one lacuna they are facing. But I told you that within, I think, 2025, the world will be surrounded. We have smart cities. Already there are European countries. There are many cities where the mayor of those cities has executed the concept of smart cities. There are smart universities. There are smart colleges. There are one university in Australia. Actually, that's the university who has given the online certifications to me. I went to the online certifications on IoT from that company, that university. That university has gotten entirely smart campus, and that campus will going to tell you that when the oxygen level is lower than the actual normal level, there will be siren or warning signal, and that can automatically collect the more oxygen from the air and input into the system. So even this such an autonomous things, they are coming up, and there are small bit of Internet of Things have been actually making this possible. So the privacy is a big concept. And in the year 2009, Ledy was actually been implicated in a heinous offense and in USA, and he was later on been acquitted in that case. But at the time he was arrested, every news media, every online media, and every news media, and later on the online media, they captured her news along with pictures. And the lady, you can understand, was defamed and demeaned and attacked on the online and other forum, and thus her esteem was lowered. And after she was acquitted, she filed a case before the one of the court in USA, and therefore a very important concept is coming up: the right to be forgotten. I have my YouTube channel, as you told, and I have a video dedicated on it, right to be forgotten. And this concept has been inbuilt into the GDPR, and this concept is also inbuilt in our upcoming Indian law, which is now in the stage of bill. So right to be forgotten, nobody is going to disturb me. The time I have been freed from a case, or I should not be, and there is no veracity of any kind of allegations alleged at any point of time. When I am freed from that, I have the right to be forgotten and right of erasure. Every media has to erase or delete those data which has been uploaded at any point of time. So this is a huge thing coming up in different perspective. Privacy by design, these people will come with the corporates are actually thinking of. But my perspective in this field, actually, I am the first person in Bengal who myself written to the government of West Bengal to train all the people in the Sector 5s and the corporates with the GDPR, and the government approved my prayer. And I have taken it more than 2 hours question hour sessions, and it was videographed and uploaded by them. And in that, I have tried to explain this corporate that without this knowledge of the GDPR and other privacy law, the corporates will not going to withstand, because such a huge penalty or punishment will not make those companies exist in the future. So from that perspective, and obviously there are two sides of a coin, and when there is a huge complications coming up in designing the privacy and all. And another thing is that the faster the Indian companies will adopt these things, the more efficiency our corporates will going to enjoy in the international competitions, which I think. And now the next thing is good news for all lawyer students, that they're going to have a lot of clients, lot of briefs in those privacy cases and all, because privacy is going to have a very important role to play, very, very important role to play, and is already very important. And I think if you'll be surprised to know that in our bill proposed law, any infringes or privacy of a particular person, if you file a complaint, it's a non-bailable cognizable offense, and up to 3 years imprisonment can be awarded to that person. So it's not a matter of joke only. It's a serious affairs. And I think you have your own legal fraternities in your college and other. So I think actually, I had a small debate with one of the esteemed university in India, that why not you started a dedicated course on cyber law and electronic evidence in your class, because otherwise these budding advocates cannot even run their chambers, because their client used to come with an electronic records. In the days to come, they will not come with any paper documents. So how they're going to appreciate? Because without knowledge, what I apprehend, I'm not, because I'm also a student, every day I'm trying to experiment with these things, that's it. What I apprehend that over jealousy, over inquisitiveness, and without proper knowledge of how to handle, even himself destroy the evidences. So that's a big point of concern for me, because in dealing with electronic evidence, because for the last 25 years, the legal fraternities throughout the world, India is actually just started to, we are Dakho Ami Barchi Mami Horlicks boy in this field. And the world is now more mature, and the developed countries have a lot of judgment on this. And if you go through this judgment, you'll see that there are a lot of changes taking place, and appreciation of electronic evidence, I think one of the most important thing. And whoever presents, I think in your seminar and all, I'll invite you all to come to at least to my Twitter account. I'm running a has legally speaking. And I have a blog where I keep writing on electronic evidences, and all my YouTube channels videos are actually targeted to the electronic evidence and cyber law related matters. Nothing other has been mentioned in that thing. So there are resources, there are all are free resources, and I think my Hindi app and Bengali app is also very popular. And recently I have come with the podcast. I thought podcast is very popular for the last 3-4 years in USA, and why not in India? It's getting popularity because using the podcast, you can also do your multitasking. You can do your other jobs. You need not to confine your eyes and all the sensory organs like that of the YouTube channel and other. So podcast is going to be a very effective and powerful instrument in imparting educations. In my first podcast, which has been published, I have given a 31 minutes of podcast or a sound track, and wherein the people will understand, a common man will understand what the do's and don't of in the cyber world. Because today nobody should say, because I can still recollect that day in the year 2014-15 when I started writing my book in Bengali in cyber law. There are people, there are friends of in my legal fraternities and technologies and other, they are laughing at me, telling, who is going to read your Bengali cyber law? And I told him, no, you don't know, because if you roam about different part of Bengal, I forget about India, and you go to the villages and other part, you'll see that the 8th, 1st, 9th class standard students, they're using the mobile phone, using the Facebook and other, only enter into and see the porn videos. And they don't know the consequences of things going to happen, because it is told that the most of the Trojan and most of the malwares are being injected in your system when we embark upon or in the luxury of watching the porn videos and other. This is one of the parts. There are other huge parts, the lowering of the brain, the depraving of the values and moral. These are all things, the result will definitely come, and it is coming in the society. So from different perspective, actually, there is no scope, we should say, that will, then I'm coming back to the same question, that so legal fraternity should be and must be equipped with this subject the earliest it possible, because in this pandemic has আমরা যেটা বাংলায় বলি, আমাদেরকে কানে হাত দিয়ে জোর করে শিখিয়ে দিয়েছে, we have to go through this, we have to accept this world. Without this we cannot even withstand. That is one of the most important things.
Very well said, sir. You have actually made us understand that cyber law is now going to be part of each person's lives, and whether we like it or not, we have to acquaint ourselves with it. And the student participants that we have here, both from the university and outside, they are, I think, already triggered with whatever you have said, because we have a question in the chat box which says, what is the single most important step that we have to take after graduation if we want to make a career in cyber law?
Look, what I understood from my own life, because my life is an experimental one. I never been to any university and take a diploma or a post-graduation in cyber law. At that time, there was no course available in India. I learned myself. It's the best way. The self-taught teaching is the best, I think, technique because of these budding new areas. The single and the most important prescription will be, you should have at least divide your time to read technology and law both way, because this is basically a techno-legal subject. I am doing at least 1 or 2 hours every day in the world of roaming about in the world of coding, technology and all, because if you do not understand, because what at the end of the day a lawyer has to prove, he has to prove a fact, which is ultimately going to be evidence, and that has to be admissible and relevant. So these fact will come in the form of electronic evidence. This fact will come in the form of a e-form evidence. So from that perspective, if you understand the coding, I think the best thing is to understand coding, how things work, and this stack, this technology, this system in networking, in hardware, in software running procedures, how the 0 and 1 works, how the new things are going to come, how the social media is actually working, how they preserve the data, how can we take those data and put it into the table of the code, because if you go by the basic definitions of what is evidence, as as per Section 3 of Indian Evidence Act, which is actually amended because of the cyber law, it says that anything placed before the court for inspection is evidence, which includes the electronic records and or documents. So from that perspective, what we need to know is to no apathy, no allergy towards the technology. We have to learn technology. We have to have an experimental attitude. Every day we have to experiment, because all I think I don't have I have 100% success in prosecution in Bengal. I don't think there is any comparable example in India. And I don't feel proud for myself for that. The entire credit goes to electronic evidence. What I did in all cases, I've been overzealous to provide the truth, because as a prosecutor, my duty is to bring with the truth in the court. I cannot screen off any truth or allow anybody to screen off the truth. Because in the last of one of the famous case, I think all you heard about that one lady was awarded life imprisonment with an allegation of killing her own husband. Both of them are a lawyer of Honorable High Court at Calcutta. And in that case, in proving the circumstances, the motive and all, I on behalf of the prosecution, I put the Google search engine data, the WhatsApp data, the Facebook data to prove the motive, the culpability, the conduct. All these are going to play a very important role in a case which is based on circumstantial evidences. And a murderer will never have or keep the eyewitness when going to commit a crime. So in different cases, if you start from at the beginning as a lawyer, the most important thing there is a concept in our legal fraternity, যত চুল পাকবে তত তুমি বড় lawyer হবে. I don't believe this concept is of any use in this field, because আমার চুল খুব একটা পাকেনি, but this field এ লোকে আমাকে conference করে, অনেক চুল পাকা লোকও করে. Thing is very simple. It's a very dynamic subject. You can do lot in this field if you have that vision, that goal, if you plan your life every day, if you divide your time to technology learning and the law learning, and if you follow the international law, international technology, how they're putting the evidences, and try to understand the conventional evidences and then merge it with the non-conventional evidences, and this experimental attitude. And I'll request you, don't go for any diploma, postgraduate, blah 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 thing. Your basic qualification academic is an LLB. That is enough. And I even requested to EFCUTA and other organizations to induct at least one paper on cyber law and electronic evidences. And if it's not been that, I don't care. You can come with simply read all these things after completion of your LLB and start doing work and follow different resources worldwide. And I'll request all my friends to follow all my resources, starting from Twitter handle. I am there at the rate of Cyber Chatterjee Twitter handle. Every time, every day, I post more than 200 Twitter in a day, because nowadays I have a lot of time. So all are on electronic evidences, cyber law, and different legal perspective. So be with connected with those resources. Everybody, apart from my resources, there are other lot of very good resources worldwide. You can go those and capture those things in your mind, and you learn yourself. And please try at least to put your hand little bit into your coding, at least to understand and learn what is coding. You need not to code, but learn how the code runs, how the program runs, how the software runs. Otherwise, how can after 10 years from this day, I just predict a lawyer cannot do anything apart from the AI. I have a blog post a few days earlier that is it that the robot will going to make judgment? And I think this blog was very popular. I came with the Bengali and English both PA. And I tried to show that the Supreme Court has come with the SUPES. That is a portal which is going to run on artificial intelligence. And there's a caution on the part of the Darden Chief Justice that we're not going to put this for predictive judgment. Because because there can be always there's a danger, because that very just one point I can't stop myself referring. There is a concept called there's an algorithm called Compass, and the USA was the first who tried to experiment on these predictions or predictive model of crime and all these things. So whether the black complexions people or the white color people, in between them, there is a comparison being made. Where is the propensity to commit the crime? Even there will be any recurrence of the crime, even within the 2 years. There was a predictive model being made, and you know how the model is being made. Huge amount of data has been gathered. Some amount of data is being put to make the model, and other part of the data is being kept preserved to test the model, how accurate the model is. And the point is that when the model is put to use, it has predicted very negative thing. And the most dangerous thing is that the apathy, the discriminations between two color is been prominent from the algorithm's result. And that is, I'm telling, is very dangerous. So the days come will be run by AI. And that's the caution given by our Chief Justice, that we're going to apply this AI only to get the data, only to minimize the huge amount of data working on it. The judges will work on this data, and they will go on this different huge number of cases, and they will take the help of the AI to find out solution, how the things will run very faster. That's it. We're not going to embark upon any predictive judgment. So that's the safeguards or safety valve put by our Supreme Court. And apart from there, but in different part of the world, in different countries like France, where first in the year 2017 experimented with the predictive judgment, and in petty cases, online dispute resolution, in commercial cases, in arbitration and other cases, where there is not question of complications and intricacies of the law is there, they are now already putting the AI into actions in even predicting judgment. So we are already in the predictive judgment or AI delivered judgment. So actually, the robot is delivering the judgment in the world today.
So our next question, before I go there, just to share a small bit of information with you, at the School of Law, the curriculum that we have devised, we actually have papers on cyber law, especially dedicated in the LLB programs that we offer, both in the 5-year program as well as in the 3-year program. And along with that, even in the master's curriculum, we also have AI, how AI tools can be utilized in the profession of lawyering. All that has been included in the syllabus. So I understand from your discussion that the syllabus that we have tried to prepare, and we have also got it verified from legal professionals who are there in the corporate space, who are like you, and we have tried to make it as industry ready. And I'm sure that this syllabus therefore will actually help the students in the long run. Our next question that we have is a question on cyber forensics.
Professor Mukherjee, let me talk a little bit with Mr. Chatterjee. What I feel is that technology will day by day get advanced, will grow, and more technology grows, there'll be more scope of cyber crimes happening.
Right.
And in order to control those cyber crimes, the legal people will again have to take the help of technology.
Right. Right.
So it's a vicious cycle, you can say.
Yes. Yeah. Obviously.
We can't do without technology.
Yes. You can call the cycle in this way. My favorite phraseology is that: create a problem, find a solution, get a promotion. If you go by the philosophy of these corporates, they are creating problems. So people are finding the loopholes and putting some impurities, hacking the system, and then come with the antivirus and then getting the promotion. So it's creating a problem, finding a solution, and getting a promotion. The people become angry with me whenever I spoke this way in corporate seminars and others. But I know this is absolutely right. And even when there is a suspicion that we are already in the biological wire in today's world, I think this is the best and the apt phraseology today. Create a problem, find a solution, get a promotion. So this is a vicious cycle, and until and unless this, because the one of the greatest scientists in the world told that the three reasons that the world can be destroyed. One is the aggression, another is the lien, and the third is the artificial intelligence. These are the three things which can be instrumental. It is a Stephen Hawkins famous word, and he told that three reasons can be the reasons for the destruction of the world. And I mentioned about already AI, and the aggressions. I don't want to mention the name of the country, and other people are all aware of what is happening throughout. So these are all nothing but a vicious circle. And don't forget, this is not a corona wire only. This is actually a data wire. This is actually a data wire. Just I am telling, wait for 2 years, 1 or 2 years. What I am apprehending, I sometimes think of giving some articles and posting it, but I was actually fearing that what kind of messages will go against our countries. That's why I stopped writing this. We don't have any law like HIPAA, equivalent in USA. What our political members, political peoples are doing, they are capturing the data where the people are being the last riots been they have been cremated, and their health data, their pictures been showed, they're grasping for oxygen. All these are very intricate and important and private data, which even in USA perspective, it been shown in this way and been publicized, and political mileage has been sought for. This is a crime, as a heinous crime under the US law, under HIPAA. What we are doing, if you go to the Twitter, Facebook, wherever you go, you'll see a lot of data being exchanged and shared. I'm not telling that the social media will be stopped and people are not, I don't tell that. But the way these media has been used, these pictures, this data has been used, and showing the actual picture of India, this I think will not be possible if you would have been in USA. And this huge amount of data, someday and others will overcome this issue, because we'll win this travel in someday and others. We still hope for that. But after 2-3 years, this huge amount of health data, what will go to do with this health data? This will be a huge point of concern, I am telling, in the days to come.
So, as career opportunity, there is ample scope of the youngsters taking up this as a profession, because coming days will have lot many cyber crimes, as I would say. And there is another wing which handles the security part, the technical part, where they're controlling the systems, where they're controlling the websites, where they're doing auditing, the data protection, other things they're trying to do. That's the technological part.
But there's one point, very important point, that cybersecurity part, that auditing part, that part should be, those people are working on those fields should be consulted, should consult with the legal person or the techno-legal person.
Absolutely.
Because the time you are making a plan, the time you are auditing a system, there is always a chance that you are infringing on third-party data. So what will be the consequence, legal consequences, technological consequences? I am telling you, there are people who are actually techno-legal persons who are telling themselves as ethical hacker and coming to different medias and other. They are earning money on that. They are earning money on that. They are earning money on that. And on that perspective, I'll definitely prescribe those people as well, even to consult once in a lifetime to the lawyers, or at least the lawyers who are working in this important or the very progressive field. Because otherwise, the planning they are making, they can be in a trouble at any point of time. And that is actually happening. Lot of cases has been, a lot of affairs been registered against those people who are embarking upon on these hacking and all these things without the proper permissions. And you are going to some enterprises, and you are making an agreement with that company. Okay, I'm going to provide you cyber security system. I'm going to make an audit, cyber audit and all, everything is fantastic. But in doing so, you are bound to enter into the other third-party system, because the system is not confined to single system. So when you are doing this, that third party does not have any agreement with you. So what will be the consequences in that case? That has to be explored. And that is why I'm telling, if the lawyers comes and they become the technological perspective, they're going to rule the world. Even these, they're going to, these all experts In our BTech, forget about law, in our BTech in IT, I have once already given a suggestions that we should have every fire tender should know how to deal with the fire. So the person who is going to be in the IT field throughout his life or career, he should know how to deal with the data. What are the laws throughout the world? Because it is not an Indian law. It's not a West Bengal law. It's a world law. It's a global platform. Anything being posted, anything being done.
They need to work hand in hand.
Yes.
Yes. Ma'am?
Professor Mukherjee, you have a question?
Yeah. Yes. Just before winding up, one last question maybe, because I think we are over an hour now. If sir is willing, we can very well go on.
Professor Mukherjee, there are a number of questions.
Yes. There are a number of questions. We will actually try to limit ourselves only those questions which have, sir, when he was deliberating on different points, he had actually touched a number of them. But I will try to only take a few of those questions, those areas on which perhaps, students are more interested to know. They are interested to know that cyber forensics after a course of law, do you think it would be bring them more employment opportunities in the near future, considering that cyber, area of cyber law is actually growing every moment? So do you think a degree in cyber forensics would be more relevant and more employable opportunities would be available in the near future, apart from a degree in law?
Yes, Devasri, a very interesting question put forward by you. Actually, frankly speaking, this cyber forensic field is actually perfect blend of law and technology. If a forensic expert doesn't know how the evidence is being put before the court of law or a forum, because the very meaning of the word forensic is being before the forum, or it's been used by the court. Now, if in that perspective, if a forensic expert who knows the technology but doesn't know the law comes with the evidence, extracted the data and send it to the law enforcement agency, and that law enforcement agency is going to put that evidence into the as an exhibit in the court. In that perspective, if that forensic expert doesn't know the law or the implication of this type of law, then there will be absolutely blunder on the part, and that evidence can be useless. I just take you 1 minute of time to explain you a recent case. On 22nd of March in 2021, if you come to my various blog and my Twitter and my Facebook and other, this case was actually highly covered by Times of India and other newspaper. And it's a fantastic case of where the application of forensic evidence in the cyber law will be in the days to come. It was an allegation that a law students within the final year students, she came it's a case in the year 2010 and 11. That time there was a cyber cell just newly born in the CID as well. So there's no PS, there's a PS only in Kolkata cyber PS. There's a cyber cell in, with the CID West Bengal. Now, the lady came in the house. She was pursuing LLB from Gujarat University, and she came back and in the Puja holidays. And one day when she was roaming about in the internet and all, she came to know that a Facebook account was created on her name, and lesbians comment, pictures, and details of her life, private life, been posted into that. And different male members was invited for sexual pleasure and other. And these obnoxious, lesbians, is defaming, demeaning, character assassinating materials are all being posted day by day for 1 year more. And the lady got that information. She was alarmed. She informed the same to her own brother, own father. Father was actually is a practitioner in Supreme Court of India. He filed a complaint before the one of the PS in West Bengal, and later on CID West Bengal took up the investigation of that case. And it was the case the 2012 the charge sheet. It was one of the first case, should I say, the primitive investigations in cybercrime and other in Bengal. So the charge sheet was filed in the year 2012, and in the year 2016 last end, I have been appointed as a special public prosecutor in that case. When I entered into as a special public prosecutor in the case, there are already 3 witnesses already examined. And the fourth witnesses was going. Luckily, the fourth witnesses has not been completed, and he was the cyber forensic expert. Actually, what happened? The traceability path. If you, I'll request all the persons who are hearing my today's discussion and other, please go to my YouTube channel. There are 3 videos in Bengali, Hindi, and English on how to investigate on cyber crime. And in that case, I have discussed about traceability path, how the investigation will start from the URL to the IP address, from IP address to the IP log, from the IP log to the investigating officers even reach to the house of an offender. So entire traceability path I have explained in Bengali, Hindi, and English in 3 different videos. Now, because of lack of time, I don't want to develop the same thing, which will take time. Now, applying the same technique, those URL, the Facebook was requested, the Facebook has given the IP address, those IP is put into the IP lookup and seen that the IP was given by the BSNL, that time the Calcutta telephones. And they was requested whom they have allocated those IP. They have given the address and the MAC ID and everything of the offender's house and all. So the investigating agency made a raid to the house of the offender, and after reaching the house, they saw that there was a computer, desktop, and a mobile phone, and it was used by the offender, and that mobile phone and that computer was seized and sent to the Central Forensic Science Laboratory. There's a Government of India undertaking, Government of India coming directly under MHA, is a centralized forensic laboratory by Government of India, and they were asked some question by CID West Bengal, depending on the evidence which might be there in the hard disks of the suspect hard disks. I was not satisfied all those questions when I enter into the case. I make a re-examination pair before the court of the entire hard disks with new queries, because I put forward 5 different pictures which are directly connected with the case. And I prayed before the court that these pictures be sent to the forensic expert for a re-examination of the entire data. And what I was needed is that simply come with whether these data which is directly connected with the case are there in the hard disk or not. That was a simple question. And there was the court allowed my prayer. The request was sent, the order was sent to the Central Forensic Science Laboratory. They make a re-examination and a further examination. And on further examination, we are all surprised to know that out of 5 pictures, 4 pictures remain intact in that hard disk. 1 picture was not available because, you know, there is no concept called deletion. There is the only concept called overwritten. So 1 picture was overwritten and all are there in deleted, and all those were undeleted by using a particular software by the forensic expert. And the time those evidence came into the court, the ratio of the case leaning heavily towards the prosecution. It was at the beginning when I was taking the brief, it was a 10 to 90% in favor of the defense. And when I took up this thing and this examination result came in, then it was become 90 to 10. And this case on 22nd of this, 22nd March of this year, the accused was actually been convicted. 1 year imprisonment was been awarded, and 1.5 lakh rupees was awarded as a compensation to be given by that person to the victim. Now, in that case, the quantum is lower because of depending on the quantum of the punishment available in India under Information Technology Act and other. So, point here is that you see how these people, forensic people, was not aware of how the evidence will going to come. In many cases, they are taking the hard disk, extracting the data, and putting the data in a pen drive and sending to the police officers of the court. This is not the procedure. They have to give a statement under Section 65B. They have to authenticate and make the evidence admissible before the court of the law. And these are the procedure, and that is why there will be, coming to your specific reply to your question, for cyber forensic experts, this mixed area is a beautiful area, and it will going to provide a substantial advantage to those people who have a little bit of knowledge, a fair bit of knowledge on law as well as on the technology. So I think a forensic expert, cyber forensic expert, should know both law and technology.
So thank you, Mr. Ma'am. Actually, hi. Okay.
Wendy is back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Moinila,
I can
although many students have been asking questions, but
we see a very pertinent question from one person, so I would just take
we
that
shouldn't
question ahead.
Yes, I was actually
Yes.
trying to take
we
that
shouldn't ignore the
regarding
seniors.
installation of apps and all that.
Yes, that's the second. The
Professor
first
Mukherjee?
question that
Yeah,
the first
senior
question that we
person has
received.
asked a question.
Yes, Shoibal Nondi, I think it's very pertinent. Please highlight about banking fraud due to extensive use of UPI QR code and how to protect ourselves. What to do if the crime happened? What should be the steps that we should be take?
Look, there's nothing wrong in using the UPI. It's one of the world's robust data reservoir. But the point how we handle it, that's the massacre, actually. That's a blunder we are doing. There are a lot of awareness campaign every time we are trying to teach people, make the people learn that no bank in the world will ask from any individual, any account holder about the OTP, about the PIN or whatever, because the phishing attack has taken a sea change. The people are no longer giving a call and telling, okay, these things. They're sending a link. Today only, there are national level, huge amount of WhatsApp hack happen starting from yesterday. Message is going on to everybody's WhatsApp. And if somebody click on the URL and the time it has been clicked and the data and the WhatsApp account is hacked. And there are two purposes can be served by these unethical hacker. One is they're getting the sadistic satisfaction that they have committed a crime. And the second thing is that they are entering into a system, they're picking up the data and making a reservoir and catching all your private individual data. Because the time, the answer of both the question, the time we are allowing an app to be installed in our system, there are mechanisms. Say, for example, if you discuss about the Android system, it is actually a 5-layer system. Android is not like an operating system like that of the Windows. It is a whole lot of system. For you to run Windows, you need the Microsoft Office, you need other software as well. Otherwise, you cannot run this Windows only. But in case of Android, it contains everything. Now, within this Android, there are different stacks. And if you want to go to the last layer, which is called the kernel layer, that's directly connected with the hardware of the system, if the permission has to be sought from the user. So when you are installing an app, that is why a permission is being sought by from the part of the company. When you are giving the permission, the time you are giving the permission, the app is actually taking your resources, your computer, your mobile resources, your resource manager and everything. Because there are a lot of runtime applications and others, huge changes, because in Flutter and other persons, we have sea change things coming up. Now, going to the basic concept is that the time we allowing our app to be installed in our system, we are allowing the app to enter into our kernel, making our sandbox. That is called sandbox technology. And when the sandbox is broken, it is taken into and entered into the our kernel. So what is happening for this app? We are giving permissions willingly. And there are another part, there are ransomware, there are other things which is actually unknowingly, without our permission, they are breaking the jail, they are breaking the sandbox and entering into the kernel. And these type of things are called the jailbreaking. So these are the two phenomena going parallel, all applicable in case of Android and also in Apple. But in case of the iOS system, iOS has got its own mechanism whereby they're regularly monitoring the system. But in case of Android, they are making it free. And that is why there are less amount of supervision on the system and all, and new patches, new development are coming into it. And that's why the security system is far more compromising in Android than of the Apple. But coming to your question that in case of UPI, we are using UPI, there's nothing wrong in doing. But if the same point will coming again, repeatedly, that we are using the virtual world in different way, in net banking, in everything. Now the biggest question is whether we are mature enough to use the system?
Yes.
That's the big question, elaborately and repeatedly haunting me. I think one of the guy who has repeatedly faced this question. You heard about that Baduria incident, the Baduria riot, and a Facebook post was the reason for 2 consecutive districts out of the map of a state. Law and order was completely jeopardized, and even the only the police vehicles was being destroyed to the tune of more than 2 crore. And that's the and when the post was been made, the people coming with their lathis and all these things started rioting and all. See, where is our maturity? We have not verified that one of the biggest chaotic phenomena today in the social media is that of the fake news, and we are not verifying the veracity of a news, and even we relying on the fake news and coming out of the home and starting rioting. That's the level of maturity we are enjoying today, we are having today. And that same concept is coming in using the UPI and other thing. Whenever we are going to do any net banking or anything, we will only rely and embark upon the mobile application provided by that particular banking company. If you want to do any net banking or anything through SBI, you are not permitted. You should not go to the Google I Nama. I have a video called Google I Nama. If you watch that, the people have been defrauded collecting the data from Google. Not all data in the Google are reliable. So in doing so, if we take the help of the mobile application derived or developed by the mobile banking company itself, I think it is one of the safest, because that if there is any infringement or any breaches and your system is hacked and the money has been siphoned from your bank account to the other, then if you use the banking app, the entire responsibility with the bank, they will going to compensate you. They're bound to compensate you as per the RBI press release or rule 2018 July ruling. So they will come. Even in that rule 12, it has been told that it is the responsibility, it is the owners of the bank to disprove that they don't have any liability. So that kind of force has been applied. But the one thing is very important. We should not compromise any data. If we are not allowing us, if we're not sharing our data relating to our bank and anything, then we have no problem. No problem we have. I'm repeating the same. What we need to do, when we are going to do any net banking, we should know thoroughly the system. If we not, our senior citizens are adapt with the system, you should not allow them to do this, and you should teach them how to deal with the same thing, and you'll tell them the security parts of them, because the time the money is siphoned, it can land it up the bank account or to the account of any offender who is residing in any part of the world. And for any expectation for a law enforcement agencies that they will in the next morning go to the offender's house and catch hold of that guy picking up the collar of the shirt, it's beyond imagination. So that's why I'm telling the awareness is the only and the best thing we can apply in our day-to-day life.
So one more question that we have is, sometimes we install apps and we unknowingly agree to terms and conditions that are mentioned in that particular app without even reading that properly, or sometimes we are forced to accept those terms and conditions. So what, in your opinion, are the kind of steps that we can deal with such situations? I mean, how can we deal with such situations? Because we merely have to write, I agree. You have to just click on that button. So what is the remedy?
I can still remember there was a Bengali term I put forward in the USA conference. It's a Western Dadagiri. So I'm just repeating the same thing. If you want to have a cab, you have no option. You have to install an app. And the app, whatever way you make your due diligence, they will going to take you the camera, location and everything. So you are bound to provide. So what is the remedy? There's no remedy. The only remedy will be coming when we have our data privacy bill converted into law or act, and the bill is passed. In that case, okay, you are taking my camera, you are taking my location, very good. You take it. The time will have information that you are misusing. I can sue up to 4% of the global annual turnover. That's you prepare for. because the Facebook, the Google, they have given the millions and millions and euro and dollar as a fine before the European Union authority. So I am very comfortable on that point. Let the privacy bill law to come. I'm very eager to see the bill to be implicated in India. And the UK, we have no option. You put your dadagiri here. Okay, if you go by the privacy policy, recently 2-3 days earlier, I've made a post in my Twitter account on the Western Dadagiri of the WhatsApp account. They have given an ultimatum that 15 was the last date. And you can see there's a maximum, I think, after posting in a single day, I got more than 7,000 impressions on that post. And I have mentioned the same to the government authorities as well. And they have not come, they've not stopped sending us the messages if you will not accept that privacy policy. But if you read the privacy policy, the first liner is very discriminating. They are telling, apart from those people who are not in Europe, right, whether the value of a human being are lesser who are not non-European. How can I differentiate the human value of an European and non-European? This is a gross discrimination. This cannot be allowed. And that is why I think our legislature should immediately go and even pass this law for arresting those, for controlling those corporates or Western Dadagiri promulgating companies. These are absolutely Western Dadagiri. Technologically and legally, we don't have anything to do at this level. We have Section 43A of Information Technology Act. We can put that into actions. We can have cyber adjudicator where we can have compensation up to 5 crore rupees. You know, one of the famous case actually, after it covers the first page of Times of India and Telegraph, and Ina called me on that day after reading that news. Lady's mobile phone was hacked by a Trojan by her own husband. And the husband, I think Ina still remember that in the year 2017, the case was reported. And 50,000 compensation was awarded on that case against that husband, who was actually have doubt that the wife had a lot of boyfriends. And that's why he injected some Russian forensic tools, Trojan, into her mobile phone, the LG mobile phone. And every time she was gossiping, telling that I'm going to fight 498 against you and all. Every data, every record was being caught in the server record of the husband. And even that husband had mentioned the same in the divorce petition filed by him. And I have filed a complaint before the cyber adjudication, telling that husband has committed a crime of hacking without the permission of the husband. He has entered into and unlawfully infringed into the system. And in the first case in India, when 50,000 compensation was awarded and he was held guilty. So that's a nice case on that point. So I think data law, I'm waiting for. These Western Dadagiri will be there because we cannot do, because they are more developed than us. So that's why we are actually having a very inferior level of things we are enjoying today. But I think the situation will change, things will change. The time the privacy law will come, we're also going to say, yes, there's no difference between Indian people and the European people.
Yeah, I'll take one question from Shomanjana. Of course, she's faculty in the Department of Law. She's asking what legal protection is available to those data that are saved in the cloud?
Look, cloud, you cannot take any safeguard. The only thing, the cloud service providing company. There is a famous saying in case of cloud, because the first book on cloud computing, I think, written by me. There's the book called Dense Cloud. And there was a dense cloud surrounding the security system of the cloud system of the world. The biggest fallacy with the cloud is not forensic friendly. And the way they are actually collecting the data of the people and putting that data is a catastrophe. And see, for example, you have been given a place, say, for example, A's data in the server and the B's data in the server of X. And A and B both are sharing the same thing. And even in case of a law enforcement agency coming and collect the data of, because more than 50% data are in the cloud, it is now settled fact. So privacy of a cloud is a very important thing. I don't think we have very big scope to control the cloud. We have the ID, we have the password. We can connect with the space given to us in the cloud. We are using those space. We should be cautious about handling those ID and password. That much of security we can exercise. That is all. And the rest of the security due diligence will be done by the cloud servicing providing company. It's not our headache. And if anything been done infringing the privacy, again the same law will be the existing prevailing law, that is IT Rule 2011, and also the Information Technology Act Section 43 and 72, 72A and Section 43A. And I am expecting the bill to be converted into law, and that time we can apply those acts.
Mintila, I think we have taken a lot of time of
Yes.
Mr. Chatterjee. I hope there are no more questions, or there may be a few. Which,
there are, yes,
Yeah,
lots of
there
questions,
are,
but we
which
have to
can
end
be ignored.
somewhere.
As
Which
time
can
is
be-
passing, there are even
Yes.
more coming up.
True. Thank you, Mr. Chatterjee. I don't know how to really show my gratitude, but one thing for sure, once things normalize, I would definitely want you to visit our campus. I'm sure you haven't been there, the Sister Nivedita University Newtown campus. So an open invitation for that, and to address our students physically, not virtually.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I'll be
Inviting you
in
to
touch
our
with you
campus.
for more sessions. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor
to all of
Mukherjee.
you.
Thank you all
ma'am.
participants.
Thank you.